you don't generally ask what's the goriest thing unless you want a horror show. But I also know that like you never ask a nurse what's the strangest thing someone ever put up their butt. You know, you're gonna
Yeah.
hear you're gonna hear weird things like light bulbs and shit. So,
Yeah.
but
Crazy.
switching gears. This video is brought to you by Dog.com. We'll hear more about them later. For now, let's get on to today's video. Welcome to Room 6, the channel dedicated to local music wherever it may be found and the people that make it, including my guests. And my guests today are a DI Records recording artists that have been influenced by everything from Megadeth to Tool and Primus to Paramore, and they've even managed to slip a little Enya in there. From Moe's Original Barbecue to South by Southwest, this band has been hitting the Colorado music scene heavy for almost 10 years. They have a new singer as of 2022, and they have a new single, Rusted, out in 2023, which I reviewed on this channel, which you can check out after this. Please welcome to the channel. Yeah, please welcome to the channel In the Variant. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
what's up? How's it going?
Smooth. I'm a professional. All right. So, thank you very much. Welcome, welcome. If you have a drink, here's to you. I've got my Room 6 whiskey in my Room 6 mug. Branding.
Nice.
All right.
Branding.
So,
Shameless plug.
So yeah, shameless plug, but also shout out to Dakota from DI Records who turned me on to your music, and really have to thank. I believe it was it Evernoir? I can't remember the band right now, but I interviewed a band that I had met when they came through town, and they said, "Hey, you need to reach out to Dakota." And next thing I know, I have music from 27 artists on the roster to review, and yours was one of the very first that Dakota's like, this one, they just did this, you need to review this. And that became this. So, yay. So, first thing, why the name In the Variant? I know you have this quote, basically like stay varied, but why in the variant? Who came up with that?
Well, that was something we put together a long time ago. It kind of has to do with the idea of getting out of your comfort zone, I guess, is really the main thing of it. So keeping things varied, doing things that you wouldn't normally do, listening to music you wouldn't normally listen to, hanging out with the people you wouldn't normally hang out with. That kind of embodies a lot of what we tried to do with our music. Um, so being in the variant, it's kind of like in that space where we kind of all come together and push boundaries and stuff like that. So that's just kind of where the name came from. All of our original members and stuff kind of, it just kind of flowed naturally. So we used it and stuck.
Right on. It makes sense. I mean, like you said, the music, it does pull from a lot of different influences, which I always enjoy as a music fan and also as a music reviewer. It's always like, oh, we're not just doing the same old that you hear all the time. So very cool. And then the introduction of Monica's voice, because your last singer was a dude, right? A male?
Yep.
Yeah. So there's a whole other dynamic. No matter what you do, there's a whole other dynamic, and in Rusted from the beginning with your woo, it's right off the bat. You're like, oh, okay, here we go. There's production. There's thought put into this. I really appreciate when you can tell that a lot of thought was put into the production of it, not just the writing of the song itself. But all right, now how do we in the studio? How do we make it sound the best it could possibly sound, even if we never actually get it to sound exactly like that live? And like I have a story where I have two albums, and one of them I was like, I'm going to do everything except the drum set because I'm a masochist, and I did. But this one song, I recorded 7 different guitar takes because why not? And then I said, hey, what if you just played them all at the same time? And that's what went in the final track with a little bit of tweaking. And I'm never going to be able to duplicate that, like I'd have to have 6 other people on stage. So, all right. So that explains why the name. I wanted to ask, so you went from the Depths Entertainment to DI Records, or you're on both at the same time? Because it seemed like I was confused.
Yeah. So we're signed to DI Records. From the Depths Entertainment is more of like a promotional company that does like rehashing or like retweeting and stuff like that. So they're just kind of like a online company that kind of took notice of us and wanted to help kind of push our stuff out there. So they're pretty cool. They essentially like reshare a lot of our stuff, but
So
DI is our
more of a promotion
yeah.
company, kind of.
Exactly, and it's pretty minimal. I mean, like, we don't really have much contact with them. They have a pretty cool site with a lot of artists from everywhere, but, they're not, like, technically a record company per se, or a label.
Gotcha.
So, like, there wasn't really, like, any contracts or anything like that with them, but really cool people, good reach. But then, yeah, obviously, like, again, shout out to Dakota DI Records, like, they turned us on to this whole group of people, and everybody's just been incredible there. So, and the amount of bands that DI Records has under their label is just growing exponentially, like, every day.
Yeah, I was impressed, and also just having reviewed a number of their artists now, like every single one, there's a certain thing you're just like, it's this polish, you know? And I don't know how, like, whether they just are getting lucky or I don't know how involved they are with that creating that polish. But also just from their website and each artist page, there's definitely this someone's paying attention and not just throwing up any old thing. So again, I appreciate that. As I used to make websites for bands, and it's always refreshing because a lot of times you go to a band page and you're just like, okay, so this is where you are online. This is maybe you got some dates, but yeah. So anywho, um, I I've been negligent. I apologize. If you're watching this and you don't know who In the Variant is, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you. Go ahead and tell them who you are and what you do in the band and who we're missing. Anybody.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm Jason Deleganis. I'm the drummer in the
That's
band.
how you pronounce your last name?
Deleganos.
It's always been a
Yeah, I
mystery
didn't
to
know it was a
everyone.
shock to anybody. But, okay, that's the whole time. No, that's
Delingus.
me.
Delignitus.
Dilabde.
So anyway, so you're the drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm Monica. I'm the vocalist.
Now you play guitar as well, right? But not in the band.
Not in the band, yeah, just for like writing purposes. I bring easy 4 chord things, and then they're like, "Let me make this not like it was written like a 3-year-old," and I'm like, "Thank you, appreciate it."
Now let's play
Hey,
it in key.
Yeah, now it's
All right.
played key. Now you can
All right.
actually sing it.
All right. Gentleman with the best name in the band. Well, second best name in
yes,
the band. The other guy is also named Josh.
that's true. Yeah, we have two Joshes actually. So the Josh we're missing, his name is Josh Summers. He's our bass player. He couldn't be here tonight, but he sends his love. Um,
Oh,
yeah, he plays a nasty 5 and 4 string bass for In the Variant, slap of the bass.
Slap it a
Um,
bass.
but yeah, so we love Josh, and he's just he's doing his thing right now. So I am the other Josh. I play the other strings, the 6 string guitar, um, and just all around ridiculousness. So that's me.
nice. Well, hey, if you want to be on the channel like these lovely people, except for Josh Summers, who isn't here, but if you want to be on the channel like them, whether reviewed, interviewed, or both, hit me up using the email address down in the description to, email me or click the Room 6 social media link. That's where I'm at online, all the things I'm doing. That's how you can get a hold of me as well, and also how you can support the channel financially if you so decide. Back to you guys. Last question for the band before I get into like the more usual interview questions or the personal, questions. Where did the dancing skeleton logo come from? It was very Oingo Boingo.
That's what I was thinking. Okay.
Boingo, boingo. Yeah, I could see that for sure. I don't know, Jason. Do you remember where that came from?
Yeah, that was a incredible artist, Alex Brandlin. Her name is out from the Bay Area, out in the West Coast. She's absolutely phenomenal. She took pity on me. I guess I begged her enough to where she could. I saw some of her work locally, actually. I mean, I think it was just like at a Target or Walmart or some sort of just very festive Dia de los Muertos type of design poster. And I'm like, this is pretty incredible. This is awesome. I looked her up. I sent her an email, and she actually responded, and she just asked like, what are you looking for? What are you trying to do and stuff? And we just needed a couple of designs, and that's something she threw together just out of her. I mean, there was no leading her on, man. She didn't need any of it. She was pretty gifted. I tried having her do some more work later on, but I guess she got a little big, which is great, so she was under contract. She couldn't help us out anymore. So she apologized, but understood. She was quite the talent.
Nice. Yeah, I was just wondering, I was like, it somehow it fits, and yet at the
Yeah.
same time, I was going like, why that? All right, cool. So before we get into kind of more personalized questions, I have a few usual interview questions I ask, generally just everybody, and any room sixers watching, any OG room sixers, you know what's coming. Let's talk earliest musical influence, and by that I mean, what is that moment you remember going, I want to do that?
Oh,
Oh,
Who
geez,
wants
that's
to go first?
I think it was pretty crazy. I mean, I don't know if I'm like making half of this up. You know how the mind embellishes, I guess, on memories. But I was jumping up and down one day. I saw this big M with a spaceman on TV. That's how old I am. And I was about 4 or 5 years old when it was the introduction of MTV, and couldn't believe it, blown away. Music videos, and I don't know. Ever since then, it was just like absolutely incredible. The channel stayed on music videos, and after that, it just generated through bands of the early '80s, mid '80s, and it got into like a lot of the glam rock, which are some very great bands and a whole sea worth of crap. But there were some really good bands that we would listen to, and it just went from there.
You and I think, are roughly the same age, because
Probably,
I
yeah.
re- I also remember. I remember the heavy metal hour, I think it was called. I remember watching the first episode of Yo MTV Raps
Yeah, Yo
on TV,
MTV Raps,
and
Headbangers
VH1 and
Ball.
all that, VH1 Storytellers and all that. I am old
Yeah,
enough to have recorded videos so I could practice singing.
yeah. Yeah, we would
And
record them on VHS just to have them like a little library of music videos, and we would play absolutely
yep.
tons of tapes.
You see, kids. This one's really for Monica and Josh. You see, kids. MTV used to be music television, not whatever the hell it is now.
what?
Yeah.
It wasn't just trash reality show. Are you kidding?
Listen, there's Jersey Shore, not trash.
I'm sorry. I'm not seeing the differentiation there.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't.
it was back then, but we did what it took. We couldn't afford a VCR because they were like $700 when they came
Yeah.
out. So we would rent one from the corner store, every place you could rent a VCR from, and my older brother Milton would hack it to where you could record on it because they didn't let you record on them. Somehow it was like piracy or
Oh,
something.
the early ones. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was merely meant to play. It wasn't a
Yep,
VCR.
yep.
It
He
was a
opened it up. He hacked it to where he could record, and we would just do that. So we would rent the VCR for like a couple of days or something. It would just stay getting our videos all night long. Oh my God, it's
Jeez.
stuck, and put it on.
The times, they were simpler. All right. Well, we're Jason. I think we're losing the young ones.
I know,
So,
right? Their eyes are glazing over. Yeah,
all right.
let's hit it.
Let's move over to this half of the screen. One of you
Okay.
two.
I kind of had like a late bloomer thing. I wanted to be a zoologist for the longest time. And I got really into Paramore when I was like 13, and I saw them play at, I think it was the Verizon Wireless Amphitheater. It might have been somewhere else. I'm from Virginia originally. And the first time I saw her perform, I was like, that's what I need to do. Like I was already like I could kind of sing, like kind of knew I could sing, you know what I mean? But when I saw that, and then coupled with, I quit sports and went to do theater and choir and stuff, and I was like, man, like that's what I want to do. And I did my first talent show in high school, like my sophomore year of high school, and sang for a band for a song with that, and then just kind of started doing like solo performances in choir and was like, I want to be on stage. I want to, do this. And I honestly, it took a while though before I was even in my first band. Until I came out here, I was 21 in my first band, and then I got a taste of what it's like to really be on stage and write your own music and do all that stuff. And since then, I've just been addicted to it. So late start, but definitely found my niche.
It's a drug. I'm with you. I didn't start performing or like really writing music or anything until college.
Yeah.
So
I went to culinary school first, and I was like, I hate everything, and this is the worst decision I ever made in my life. So I was like, I need to do something else, and then started doing this, and I haven't looked back since. So,
let me play in dive bars till 2 a.m.
yep, that's what it is.
All right. Josh G.
Yeah, I mean, like these two, it's a lot of different things that contributed, I think, for me. But I think for me, it was my brother, my sister that kind of got me into it. Like my brother was like he still plays piano, and he's an incredible piano player and just does it for his own joy. And growing up, he had a little keyboard, and he would always play it, and I would sit and listen to him play, and that always kind of stuck with me. And then I got older, my sister kind of turned me on to rock and roll and like Tool and stuff like that in the 90s. And that just set me off. And I listened to, honestly, I mean, Tool, as you could tell probably from some of my guitar playing, it's a big influence of mine. And just was listening to a lot of that, and like a lot of like 90s punk and, stuff like that. And I wanted to play guitar. I knew I wanted to play guitar. I didn't know how they made those sounds, but I wanted to learn. And I think I had like a couple lessons with a dude who like taught me how to play some songs, and after that I was hooked. And then started trying to write music and met up with some people, and been doing it ever since. And I mean, these group of jokers have been the best thing that's ever happened to me musically. So it's all led to this.
Nice. All right, cool. Well, before we get into kind of some more personal questions, we're going to hear a little message here from future Josh. So stick around. Also, I think I'm getting low, so who's break?
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Thanks, Josh from the past. Today's sponsor spot has a special guest. Meet Chloe. She's a bit of a diva, but we tolerate her, and she tolerates us. But taking care of this little monster can get expensive, which is where Dog.com comes in. Dog.com is your online dog supplies shopping and information destination. Founded in 1969 as the parent company to a wide variety of pet-related websites, Dog.com provides a broad range of competitively priced pet supplies, as well as community forums and partnerships with several national and local rescue and adoption facilities. Just for watching this video today, and for a limited time, you can use my affiliate link down in the description to get 10% off your entire order. Plus, you'll be helping out the channel. Say bye! Thanks to Dog.com for being a sponsor, and let's get back to the show. She's never this quiet.
We're back. And if that sponsor spot interested you at all, please consider clicking the link down in the description. You'll save some money. I'll get some money. It's a win-win-win. So, yay. In the meantime, if you're just joining us, what the heck are you doing jumping in the middle of the video? We're in the variant, and we're going to get into a little bit more personal things. So, Jason DeLeganis.
Yes.
You're a paramedic.
Yes, I am.
Yes. Any crazy paramedic stories that you've been holding on that you love to pull out at parties, or anything? And what would make me regret ever getting into an ambulance?
Oh, there's a whole lot of things. Yeah, the list goes on and on. I try everybody. Not a lot of people do it, but when they do it, they always ask you, "What's the goriest thing you've ever seen on the ambulance?" or "What's the craziest thing?" And they're always expecting these stories of like blood and guts and stuff. I don't do those stories anymore. I just try and find the silliest, funniest things in the world, and
Yeah, let's go with that.
yeah, absolutely. I guess right here in our fine state capital, Denver, Colorado, at the actual building, we had a 400-pound man, completely naked, wrapped in an American flag, running up and down the Capitol building, and the police were laughing a little bit too hard to actually arrest him, so they just called an ambulance because he was obviously on something. And this man was so huge; he was like kill you with one punch type of guy, and
Like Kingpin from the
it
comics.
was like the Green Mile, you know. I mean, it was actually like just
Oh,
that
geez.
type of thing. And of course, at the time, I was like 160 pounds, and it was like probably my first night, I think. And I got him in the back of the ambulance, and he went from crying to laughing over and over again. And I just stayed with my little clipboard in the corner of the ambulance the entire ride to the hospital. And that's where I say, try not to wet myself. That was probably one of my best first baptism into the whole gig.
You never forget your first. That's awesome.
That doesn't scream America.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I don't know what
Running up
does.
and down the Capitol wrapped in the American flag.
he
Well,
was happy. He was happy. Let me tell you, he was happy until he cried.
yeah, I know that like EMTs and ambulance, just in, people in general, you don't generally ask what's the goriest thing unless you want a horror show. But I also know that like you never ask a nurse what's the strangest thing someone ever put up their butt. You know,
Yeah,
you're gonna hear weird things like light bulbs and shit. So,
yeah,
but
crazy.
switching gears. Do you have like a studio kit versus live kit, and if so, which one do you really prefer on just the daily for practicing?
Oh well, you know, I'm so bad. I don't practice too much, not as much as I should. I used to
Same.
have a kit right in my house, but got kids, the wife, bought the house. You know, space got real small, so I just have a kit at the studio that I transport to gigs after gigs. I've had electronic kits here and there and stuff like that, but they either collected dust or I don't know. There was just not enough time to do it. I could probably be a whole lot better of a drummer right now if I actually practice, you know, more than once a week or something like that.
Yeah,
But no,
I'm really bad about it. I'm not even like a burgeoning drummer. I'm just I could play a song, but
right.
don't ask me to like do rudiments for more than 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure, right. It's
I
like
start thinking, I start drifting off, and yeah. I guess what I'm really asking is when you go in the studio, are you bringing your live show kit, or do you have a whole other? Because you're not playing the electronic kit in the studio, right?
no, not at all. They usually, I guess the times I've gone to the studio, they've had a drum set up there,
Okay.
that was already tuned up and stuff like that. And I've mostly used that, but a lot of the times it's just kind of like playing live when they have like a house drum set and stuff like that. I mean, it's tuned up, it's nice, but it's still not as sweet as I think I could produce, bringing some of my own stuff. But you know, years go by, you start buying more pro equipment. I actually have an adult snare drum for the first time in my life. I purchased 3 years ago, and I think probably it's just the most sweetest sounding thing I've ever heard. It's gonna be my forever snare drum. Yeah,
Who's a big boy now?
it was a big boy now. I know, right?
I'm a great big boy. Yeah, right on. Mr. Goldstein,
Yes.
who is Fluffy Beard Delfondman?
Geez, that was my old Facebook alias back in the day.
Yes, that's where I found it.
Yeah,
It's still
yeah.
in your about section.
Yes,
What?
it is.
Where did that come from?
Oh my God. Let's see. So
I get the
this
Fluffy Beard.
was
What's the Delfondman?
right. The Delfonman is just a ridiculous sounding name that I thought rolled off the tongue nicely. I had to create a Facebook profile to get in on video poker way back in the day to play with my brother who had moved to Boston. So I was like, I don't need like a real Facebook. And the world changed and we all had a real Facebook. But that was after I already had Fluffy Beard Delfondman and it stuck.
Nice, because my wife has she has a Facebook account for literally a game on her phone. She
Yeah.
does nothing on it. She refuses to get on it. She and I do all the social media because she won't. You know, we're not that couple on TikTok that's like doing videos together. You know, so I was just curious. From there, can you tell me a little bit about Lights in the Sky?
Oh yeah. Geez. So that was our yeah, gee, that's a throwback. Digging deep.
I
Yeah,
have
so
been
that
called the
was
next Nardwar.
that was originally in the variant.
Yeah.
So that was our first name that we were toying around with when we first started playing music together. Me, Jason, Josh, and then Jeremy, our old vocalist. We all got together back in the day, and we met Jeremy through like an ad online, and he was friends with Jason, and we all just kind of met up in Jeremy's basement and started jamming. And we are like, well, I guess we should like come up with some kind of band name. Um,
It
and I
sounds like
believe,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I believe it was actually from a Les Claypool album. It might have been some weird Les Claypool side project that our bass player brought up. Um, that seems to be ringing a bell for me for some reason. It's been a long time.
Right on. I was thinking it was a portmanteau of some Journey songs.
Oh, right. It might have been from if it was a Claypool thing. I mean, Claypool. I don't know if you're familiar with all of his stuff, but
Of course I know who he is, but I'm not
sure,
familiar with
yeah.
all the side projects. That was at a time in my life where I was figuring out who I was as a person
Yeah.
and also as a songwriter, and I was like, I was making music, okay, but I'm at that age now where like I have to my left I have a record player and I have records I'm slowly going through. Whenever I find myself like I don't need to have these on, let's hear a record while I work. And I'm hearing some stuff. I'm like, wow, Earth, Wind, and Fire. All right. So all sorts of stuff.
Right.
Cool. Monica Rivas. Batter up. Ready? You spoke about this briefly earlier. What was your favorite dish from culinary school?
Oh, oh man.
Halibut.
I had some really good food in culinary school, honestly.
Well, I mean, because a lot of times you hear like I watch a lot of Food Network crap. A lot of times you hear like I like that because it pushed me, it challenged me, and I learned skills I didn't and I didn't know I needed. And a lot of times it's like, oh, this I grew up with, and I was really happy to learn how to master it.
Neither one of those, honestly.
Neither
Culinary school was a blur, but I learned some like really important things.
Culinary
But
school sucks.
yeah, it was not the vibe. But I think that it wasn't necessarily in culinary school that I had it that really like kind of blew my mind. But I tried sweetbreads for the first time in the restaurant that I worked
Wow.
at. And it was funny because the chef was like, "Come here and try this." I was like, "What is it?" He was like, "Don't ask me any questions, just eat it." And I was like, "Okay." So I ate it, and it melted in my mouth. It was so good. And to find out that it was lamb throat almost made me want to like vomit. But like, um,
Wait. It was lamb throat because I thought sweetbreads was mostly brain.
oh, if it was brain, my chef is wrong for that. He told me it was lamb throat. Yeah, if it was brain, I'm
He
uncomfortable.
tried to make it slightly less.
Maybe he tried to make
ridiculous.
it less good or less like maybe want to throw up. I mean,
Okay.
regardless, okay, it was still bomb. Okay,
According to Google, sweetbreads are considered offal or the internal organs of an animal. There are two different types: neck/throat sweetbreads and heart sweetbreads.
yes.
Brain's not in there, so I was
There you
Okay,
go.
so it was definitely most likely neck. But it was so good, and it was like one of those things that I don't know. When I tried it in the moment, I was like, okay, that, and then bone marrow I tried for the first time at that same
Ugh.
restaurant,
Yeah.
and it just made me feel like okay, I can try most things. There are some things I will not try.
Right.
Like I
For
don't
me,
just like
escargot was that way.
escar. Oh wait, you tried it and you liked it?
Yeah, my family and I splurged on a Disney cruise, and or I'm sorry, well we did that, but the escargot was Royal Caribbean. We
Oh,
we
okay.
fancy, we bougie. But I remember it was on there, and I was like, "Fuck it, yes, I'm gonna
Go
try
for
it, damn it!" And we all tried it. We're like, because it was covered in butter and garlic, and it was just so
Could have been anything.
any weirdness, you're instantly like, "Oh, I'm eating," Olive Garden breadsticks. I'm just like, no. If you had this, you would have. Because I think I went back and ordered a second time on another night, which I wouldn't have done. But the sweetbread, I didn't know that was a throat or a neck option. I would be willing to try that. The brain's a little too irony for me.
No,
But
yeah, the neck was really good, really
all right,
tender.
back to music.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Dancing with Dante?
Yeah, of course.
Because that's your other band that's also on DI Records now.
No, not on DI Records, no.
No, you something just happened, right? With with Dancing with Dante? Didn't you just
No, we released some music. Things were like not assigned to anything or anything like that.
okay?
Yeah, yeah,
Swear,
yeah.
I didn't go too deep in my notes apparently, so sorry about
No,
that.
you're
But
okay.
anyway, so how is that? I'm not gonna say compare because that's a bad thing. They're each their own identity. But do you bring any of Dancing with Dante and the songwriting that happens there into in the variant or vice versa?
Not really. I think that there's different processes for both. Like, I feel like when I write stuff, a lot of my inspiration comes from a style that Dancing with Dante does. So most
Mhm.
of the stuff that I start from the ground up myself goes there. Whereas, like, I write a lot with the guys in the variant at practice, or they will bring instrumentals to me and I will just do melodies for them. Um, and because I mean they are quite different genres, and naturally I just kind of gravitate more towards pop punk when I'm writing my own stuff, and so it ends up going more into that direction for them.
Right on. From there, for everybody, you've been now in the variant's been around, like we said, for almost 10 years now, I think. But Monica just joined last year. So it's kind of a Monica's gonna have a different answer than you two guys. But what is your favorite show memory performing as in the variant? And it could be something where things went way off the rails, or you checked off a whole bunch of rock star wish list things, or like somebody went to jail, whatever it was. Is there what is that? Just like you got your paramedic story to pull out at a party. What is that story? You're just like, wow, I can't believe that happened.
Well, actually, it's kind of maybe not exactly what you're asking, but I think it was probably our first uh, show we sold out, Lost Lake. We've been a band for like 10 years and we've had ups and downs and stuff like that. And it's never felt like we've been firing on all cylinders. I mean, we've been trying our best. We've been working really hard at it and stuff. But I think, getting Monica in the band and that one show we played at Lost Lake, the crowd reaction, it was for the first time I felt like this is it. This is like what everybody's been always talking about. And then this, and then you felt like you were part of something special, unique. You think you could go all the way. You're pretty invincible. With her fronting the band and with the guys that I've known so much, for so many years, or close personal friends as well as bandmates. That was probably the best show just because of the vibe I got off of it. It was just unearthly. Yeah.
Right on. You too.
I got a close second that. I mean, I'll tell another one too, but that's probably one of my favorite show moments of selling out Lost Lake. It was just the whole night was electric, and the crowd was just like they were like, "Where did you guys come from?" And it really, with Monica being in the band, it like you were saying earlier, Josh, like it gave us this whole new dimension, and it really it felt like we were finally like complete as a unit.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that was a big deal for us. But
Just
No,
wish it happened in my 30s. That's all.
yeah.
yeah,
Before we get to Monica on that, now the video that you shot of you performing Rusted live, with the X's.
Uh-huh.
We were talking about Monica's outfit for that video. Wasn't the same night, right? That wasn't your first night at Lost Lake.
No, a different night.
So you went back.
that
Okay.
that was actually the time you're talking about was a recent show. That
That's
was
what I
at
thought. But I
yeah,
saw
that
in the
was
background, I was like, oh, it's Lost
yeah,
Lake. And you're talking about, I was like, wait, okay, so just
yeah.
clarifying.
We've
Right.
we played Lost Lake a couple times, but there was something really special about that one show. But
That was
yeah,
wild. That was
that
a
was
wild
wild.
show. Yeah, I feel like we left that stage, and it was like no one was gonna play after us.
I was
Yeah.
going to ask, you weren't headlining because it was like your first time there, right?
We opened, yeah.
So yeah, that's always fun when you're like, Ooh, I hate to follow them. Yeah. All right, Monica,
Um,
same answer
I
or
well, I mean, like I see why they picked that show. I honestly like uh, I really felt like that was the first time that I was connected with the music because we'd played a couple shows prior to that. Still kind of like getting used to the vibe, um, making my own versions of these songs that were written by their old singers.
Mhm.
And it never really felt like my music or my band, it was just like I'm singing for this band until that day. But I gotta say, it was nice being at Herman's because I've played Herman's a lot with my old band, and I have very fond memories there. And the crowd was hype, and my outfit was on fire. So
Oh,
it's a close tie, but I definitely see why they would pick Lost Lake. It was a moment for me that I was like, wow, I finally feel like I'm in the variant and not within the variant.
right. You're not joining them on stage. Yeah.
Yeah, and the
By the
lineup was
way,
amazing, so
we've been talking about the Rusted video and everything. Stick around. We're going to see the lyric video after this interview. And you know what? Drop in the comments what you think because I personally really liked it. And as I said in the intro, I've done a review of the song. It's tight. It's a banger. It's lit. I'm old, and just. But so we got a couple more questions here before we get on to that. So we talked about earliest musical influence. We talked about favorite show memories. Is there a dream gig that you're working towards, or that that in the variant would love to be on this bill, or just is it going on a world tour? What is currently on your radar for the next big thing?
Oof, like dream thing would
Yeah,
be different than like legit like
yeah. I
next.
realize I just kind of asked two questions in one. Sorry about that.
I think
Uh,
I think though to answer kind of all of that for me, it would be to get on a bill like headlining or direct support at Red Rocks.
Yeah.
Like being from
oh, yeah.
Colorado, being a musician here in Colorado, that's like always been, what I would love to do before I die one day is just be able to stand on that stage and experience that. Um,
And if you're headlining, it wouldn't hurt.
hey, yeah, it always helps. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, gentleman, lady.
Geez, that's probably, I mean, of course it's like I'd like to play the gig that was big enough to cause world peace or something like that somewhere, but I mean, I don't know. I think just one day living as a professional musician, that would be it's done. It's like it doesn't even really matter where I'm playing so much. Of course, that's not completely true, but it's just to be able to do that with my life. Finally, being able to do that with it's a lifelong dream to be realized. So that would be it for me. It's a little bit more abstract of an answer, but
No, that's a lofty goal. That I mean, we don't start making music because of that, but eventually you're like, it'd be nice not to have to go to my job.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would not complain about it.
On
No.
the flip side, though, I live in Vegas. When we lived here, I started making I started hitting open mics. I started making that kind of thing. I already had an album under my belt, and so I was already kind of doing it, but I wasn't going out, and I wasn't like on a bill. I wasn't a professional musician. And my wife gave me, I think, the best advice you could give someone who lives here and has a family and has has a job that's paying the bills and everything. She said, please don't try to make music your career here because you will be miserable. And years later, almost 20 years later, and over 4.5 years of doing this, she wasn't wrong. I know more than one group of musicians that they pay all the bills with music. That's all they do is music, but they are cover band in the daytime, or
Mhm.
like that's their day job, and then they also have this other band or thing that is the originals that they play when they can, and they get paid whatever they get paid. But they also do like live streams and stuff to raise money that way. And so it's like, yes, you're making music, but you're working way more than 8 hours a day.
Sure.
And so where's that thing? So I'm fortunate that I now have a job that I do my job, I come home, and then I get to do this. And I was, somehow I managed to get the music scene to come to me. So yeah, go me. I think Monica, we have you left on this question.
Oh yeah. Yeah, obviously Red Rocks would be phenomenal, but I think that I I just want to tour. I just want to be able to tour once, just to be able to say that I did it. It would be great to be on like a really killer bill or be like support for, like, I don't know. Honestly, I feel like we would sound pretty dope with the Black Keys.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I think so. But
Yeah.
honestly, I think DI Records should put together a tour of some of their roster
Our
because
boy Josh was just talking
We
about
were
that last
talking about
practice.
that. Yeah,
Josh is
so
yes.
hey Dakota, if you're seeing this before I talk to you about this, give me a call.
give
Hint,
me a
hint.
call. Let's put something together.
Have your people call my people. Yeah.
Have your
Um,
people call my people.
I'm just saying, you got 27 artists on your roster, or at least that's what I have music for, and you can't put a tour of like 3 or 4 or 5 acts and just say, "Here's a budget, go." We'll line up the. All you gotta do is show up, play, don't break shit, stay sober.
That's Dakota. That's all I want, bro. Let's
Yeah,
do it. Okay.
and it doesn't even have to be like. It could be literally like 2 states, a mini tour,
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
Colorado, Wyoming, Utah.
Like
Done.
I don't know what the music scene is like in Colorado. I've interviewed a couple bands like this virtually that are from the Denver, Colorado area. But here in town, if you want to make money as a band, you leave. You go on a tour, and when you come back, you're usually like net positive
Yeah.
because any place outside of a big entertainment mecca like Vegas, they appreciate you. You're like, ooh, you're from Vegas, live music, yes, one night only. I will buy all your merch, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I have merch that I bought from bands that were coming through town, and I didn't buy the locals because I was like, I'll see you next week.
Right.
Which is
You know what? I love seeing a show too where like the openers are not from here and you're just blown away.
I love anytime a band from out of town comes to play, regardless of the genre, they leave it on the stage generally.
Oh yeah. Oh well, because they
Yeah.
traveled there. Like they took
Yeah.
the blood, sweat, and tears to get to you, so they're
Right.
gonna just kill it.
They usually have the best merch. Like they came
Right.
correct. So, all right. Last question. You made it. Yay. Never going to see that video for Rusted. We're going to circle back. And again, you OG Room Sixers, if you're still watching, thank you. You know what's coming. I asked this of all my prey. We're going back to that first question of your earliest musical influence. Let's talk to little you. Let's talk to, we're talking to new musicians, really, what we're doing. So I'm asking you to basically, what is one thing that you wish you could go back and say to yourself that, hey, you're going to need to know this about going down this twisted road that is making music. And don't say change your strings, Josh.
Damn it. I still have to remind myself about that.
Monica's all, buy black electrical tape.
Electrical tape? No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Those were specially crafted.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Low hanging fruit. Anyway.
Ow.
Yeah. You have to go find the video to get that one, guys.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
go find that video.
Anywho, so yeah, what is one thing that you would like to teach the children? That you wish someone had told you that, hey, you're going to need to know this.
Oh, geez. I mean, I don't know. You mean like, as far as being like a better musician or anything like that, or like what's your story?
What is when you said I want to do that? What do you wish you suddenly there you are from the future saying?
Oh, I think
actually,
I half-assed it like a lot. So I think that's one thing I would definitely tell myself. Hey, it's great to have big dreams and stuff like that, but maybe get your head out of the clouds for a little bit and do your rudiments. That type of stuff. Get dead solid, perfect. Get great to where you can play anything you want. It's just up to you what you want to play and what genre you want to play, and you can just like adapt to whatever. I think that's what I would probably do to my younger self, is just to get better just work harder at it, especially through the early years. Yeah, absolutely.
Get good, scrub.
Hmm.
There you
Right
go.
on. I mean, that's generally good advice for everybody. If you think you're good enough, practice.
Yeah,
I'm,
exactly.
yeah, guilty. Yeah. So,
Well, I'm just
uh,
mentioning because some people get caught up in the idea of being in a band. People like the idea of playing shows. They like the idea of like selling T-shirts or playing it, just live music and stuff like that. But they really don't have the product. They really don't have the time and effort that they put into the actual material. So you can get up on stage and you just wet the bed. It's just really not good enough.
oh man, you are around my age. I haven't heard that expression in a long time. Um, so I agree. I'm going to piggyback on that real quick before we get on to the other two. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes fun. Like the more you practice the thing, the more fun you're going to have showing it off to people at a show. Like the bands that are having the most fun on stage are the ones that are like they're either having fun because they are wasted and so they sound like shit, or they're having fun because they know their crap and now
Mhm.
they're messing with the music. They're doing what they love and they're like, oh, I know what's coming. I know the change is coming, but I'm gonna go ahead and flirt over here or whatever. So yeah, but that's something I heard I think it was Anthony Bourdain I heard that from was practice doesn't make perfect, practice makes passionate or something like that.
No, you don't have to think about it at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
Oh,
just really let it go.
practice until you can't screw it up.
Right. Muscle memory.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. No, I think like to kind of piggyback off of all of that, I think it's not about being perfect and it's not about, going down that path of, oh, I just like the idea of being in a band or whatever. I think the biggest piece of advice I would have given myself would be like when you have that moment where you realize you want to do this for the rest of your life, remember that and remember why. Because as you go through it, things are going to happen. You're going to get jaded. People are going to hate your music. People are going to love your music. You're going to make money. You're going to lose money. And at the end of the day, like none of it matters if you're not doing it for the reason why you started. So just don't forget about that.
Oh, and when
Yeah.
you're 19, don't date a man that's just gonna break your heart, man.
Unless you're writing music like lyrics and stuff, then you date everybody, let them all break your heart, make some money off of it.
I mean, it worked
It
for
does
Boston,
make-
right?
It does make
know,
for
right?
good lyrics.
Taylor Swift,
Heartbreak.
okay?
Gonna take you by the hand and make you realize a man. Anyway, copyright. So, Monica,
I think it wouldn't be the littlest Monica. I think it would be like out of high school, not knowing what's going to happen with my life, Monica.
Gotcha. You're gonna have a dog who upstages you.
He's so cute. You're so cute. I think I would tell her you don't need to go to college. Like 'cause it sounds dumb, but like especially nowadays, like I felt like there was so much pressure on me to go to school for something, that
Right.
wasn't music, just something though. And it put me into a lot of debt and it made it really hard for me to like it wasted for me it wasted like 2 years of my life before I ended up like I was already almost done with a degree, so I went and I finished it, changing like started a different degree and finished it. Whatever. I met my bandmates, so that was good. Don't get me wrong. Like I think it's don't go to college if you don't feel like you really need to go to college. I got very lucky to have met my bandmates and they got me started on everything when I came into Colorado and I went to school. But like there's so much pressure on that. Like do what you love, find a job and pursue your passions, and I wish I would have done that from a younger age and really like dove into it so that I would be even more experienced when I got to this point. Everything happens for a reason, but I definitely would have liked to have done this earlier, and not have wasted so much of my time doing other things that I didn't need to do.
I can totally understand that. As someone who I got an associate's degree in general ed because I kept changing my major. And eventually I was like, well, I got the credits. I can at least get this and get some sort of job, middle management. And then 15 years after I got my associates, I finally got my bachelor's, and now I'm doing that. And I love it. And it allows me so much more freedom and leeway and allows me to do this. Because this isn't paying the bills, that's for sure. But I
It's
on the
paying
flip,
your soul.
yes. So I will say this: college is not wasted, and no learning is wasted.
No.
But don't get loans. I'm 51 and I'm still paying off loans from that bachelor's degree.
Yeah,
Do
well,
not get
don't
loans.
get loans and do something that you want to, like, do something that you
Yeah.
love. Don't go to school just because your parents are telling you to go to school. Like
Right.
that's and also it's gonna take some time. And you might figure out what you want to do later on, and then you know what? At least you know when you're going into it instead of being like, "Well, my parents
Yep.
said that I can cook, so I guess I'm going to culinary school." And you show up to culinary school and you're like me, I'm bringing my guitar into culinary school all the time, like in the kitchen, playing my guitar in the kitchen before we started class. Like, because I never played my guitar at that point. It was just continuously going to culinary school and hating my life.
Right.
So
Yeah. Figure out what you're passionate about, save up, and go for that.
save up.
Don't just go. Yeah. The world has enough lawyers and accountants and whatever. And if you want to be a teacher, well, thank you for your service. But
I know. Bless your
but
soul.
that being said, we have gone so far off the rails. We've lost the music thread altogether. So stick around. We're going to see the lyric video for Rusted from In the Variant. It is awesome. And we'll catch you in the outro. In the meantime, temporarily say goodbye, y'all. Temporarily say goodbye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I want to thank In the Variant for coming on the show. It was a great interview and an awesome music video. If you want to know more about them, click the link down in the description so you can find out what they're doing, keep up with new releases, and maybe catch them live. I'm hoping they come to Vegas soon. But in the meantime, if you want to see more videos like this, click up there. If you want to hear, my own music, which is not like theirs, click over there. If you want to subscribe, you know what to do. Click up there, ring the bell, yada, yada, yada. PSA, if you want to subscribe and show support, but you don't want to get notified all the time, just click the bell and choose none. That way, I get the subscription. You don't get bothered, okay? Sorry, it's a pet peeve when I subscribe and then I lose a subscriber, and then I gain one. I'm like, what's going on? That was terrible. That was pathetic. I'm gonna do the outro again.
Okay.
I shouldn't. That was unprofessional. I shouldn't have done that.
No, I don't know. I feel like you don't want to be bothered.
Makes sense.
I've done it, but I've done it on a couple videos I've already done.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I don't want to be. Yeah. I feel dirty. So, all right, there we go. One more time. 3, 2, 1. Thanks. Nope. 3, 2, 1. I want to thank In the Variant for coming on the show. It was a great interview and an awesome music video. If you want to know more about what they're up to, click the links down in the social. All right. 3, 2, 1. I'm a professional. 3, 2, 1. I want to thank In the Variant for coming on the show. It was a great interview and a great music video. If you want to know more about what they're up to, click the links down in the description so you can follow them, like them, all that stuff. In the meantime, if you want to see more videos like this, click up there. If you want to subscribe, click up there. You know what to do. And if you want to hear my own music, click over there. Yeah. Remember to be amazing, and we'll see you next time on Room 6. Say goodbye, guys.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-bum. There's always one.